Oh, okay, there it goes. Now it says live.
Hi!
Okay. Hi! Yay, we're live! So, it's only, for those of you who are watching in the future, because we have 0 viewers right now, but it's only Chloe and I today, because Danny unfortunately had to work. So yeah, and we couldn't find anyone to fill in on such short notice, so it'll just be the 2 of us.
We are the dynamic duo.
Indeed, indeed.
I need the link for this. How do I get the link?
Right, links. I forgot links. Twitter.
You can tweet us at once.
Oh, it's probably not live on YouTube yet.
Let me check. This event will begin in a few moments. It's probably still the 2 minutes behind.
Probably. I wonder if Rosamund Hodge has a Twitter.
Yeah, Rosa.
Okay. Let me see. Are you the right Rosamund Hodge? Yes, you are. Okay.
So do we want to start with what we thought of the book and our rating, or should we start with the non-spoiler part?
Yeah, well, we thought of the book and the rating, and then that kind of will just go into the non-spoilery part the non-spoilery part from there.
Okay. Would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars because it was just really weird and different, but I really liked the main character. I guess I was expecting it to be more similar to the the Disney Beauty and the Beast, I guess, and it wasn't, but it was very I actually, after I read Cruel Beauty, I went to the original fairy tale because I had never read the original fairy tale, and it's actually pretty similar to the original fairy tale, other than like the Greek mythology part. It was pretty similar to the actual original fairy tale, so I did like that about the book after I had read it. But yeah, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
So I also gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I think my problem with this book was I started it during Readorama, and I didn't want to, but I did. And 40 pages into the book, this book was super weird for me, mainly because it was just slow, and it kind of confused me because they added in the Greek mythology part, and I really like Greek mythology, but twining that with the history aspect of it was really, really weird, and what made it confusing to me. But once, like, the middle part, it finally started to pick up for me then. And then towards the end, I got confused again. And then I really liked the last 3 pages of the book. Just the last 3.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part, was actually the ending, because I guess I wasn't expecting the way that it was going to end, but I really did like the main character too. She was just awesome. I really liked that she was headstrong and determined, and she wasn't going to take any crap from anybody, but she was also like really loyal. You know, she made a promise to her family in the book, and you know, she stuck with it even though she really didn't want to.
Yeah.
And so I really, really liked her.
I think I had some theories with this story, but it was interesting enough for me not to want to put it down. Like, yeah, because normally when I don't like books, I don't want to finish them, and I knew that I'm like, I have to finish this. We've got a live show for it.
Yeah.
And I liked the overall concept of it. Like, on Goodreads it says Beauty and the Beast meets Graceling, but I've never read Graceling, so I wouldn't really know.
Me either. There was a review that I read on Goodreads that says that and I realized it by the end of the book, that literally a piece of ancient Greece was taken away from our world, which is why the people, followed the Greek mythology religion basically, and they had, all of those gods and all of those stories and stuff like that, and that helped me make more sense of the book, because the whole area that this of the characters lived in got separated from our world and was in like their own world because of some sort of curse. But just that whole fact of it, the Greek mythology mixed in with the beast and his curse and all of that was just very confusing. I think it was a lot together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was a bit too much, the Greek mythology and the Beauty and the Beast aspect of it. I really wanted to feel like I needed to keep, when I read a retelling, I like to compare and contrast the differences and the similarities between the retellings, and I felt like I had to do that with the Beauty and the Beast aspect and with the Greek mythology aspect, and it was a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been a lot better and less confusing if there weren't, you've got a piece from here and a piece from here and a piece from here and here, and it just, taking it all together was hard to follow all the little pieces.
Yeah.
So I think if you're reading this book, not necessarily keep an open mind, but more as keep a sharp eye so you don't get like confused with all the different pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of going to take us right into spoilers right now.
Yeah, basically. So if you haven't read it, there's going to be spoilers from here on out. So yeah.
How do I say this? I had a few theories. Like, one, I thought it was strange that she kind of basically married a statue and then went to his house or whatever.
Yeah, that really confused me too, because I feel like if I were writing the book, I would have said, as the character in my head, like, this is how the ceremony is going to go because it's tradition or because of our beliefs or something like that. I felt like if I were writing the book, I would have my character say that, so it made more sense. Because when I read that specific part about her marrying the statue, I was confused and I had to like reread it and understand, wait, she's marrying a statue, and it was really confusing.
Yeah, and I had a theory. Well, I had a few theories actually. When she got to his castle, house, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
When we met Shade, I thought Shade was the human part of the. Why did they call him the Gentle Lord? I don't understand that, but
that too. I just kept calling him Beast.
Yeah. So I thought he was the human part of the Gentle Lord, and which was kind of right, I guess. But I thought that in the end they would get like reattached or something, and he would be good.
That's a pretty good theory. I didn't, when I read him, I didn't think that they were the same person. What I thought in the beginning ended up being true, is that basically this person, what was his name again? Not the Gentle Lord, Shade. When I thought that Shade was basically like a prisoner or like a helper or a servant of some kind in the castle, which ended up being true. I just didn't know why or what the deal was. And then in the end, him being the last prince, like they kept referring to him as the last prince, I didn't understand that either. Maybe I missed something, or because I think that had something to do with the town being separated and the Gentle Lord being put in the castle, but I just didn't understand like how all of it came to be, I guess.
Yeah, I think the flashback to when he was still the prince kind of made sense, but it also kind of added confusion.
Yeah, there was just basically just a bunch of confusion in this book, and I wish it made more sense. But I've heard, and when I was looking at reviews for this book got like 50-50 reviews. And then I thought, did you think that Crimson Mound, which is her next book, which I think just came out or is coming out, I thought it was a sequel to this book.
I thought it was too. I think it's because the covers look so familiar.
they're the same exact cover, except
Yeah.
for instead of a rose, it's like greenery or a forest or something. But it's a girl running down a staircase,
Yeah.
and when there's not staircase, and the first one is a rose, and the second one is woods. So it
Yeah.
makes they look exactly alike, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this book at least kept my interest enough for me to want to read Crimson Bound.
Yeah, and I was saying, that book got a lot better reviews than this one did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not sure if it's in like the same world or what. I don't know. I haven't really read as much. I just kind of looked at the star rating on Goodreads. So, and maybe it hasn't been out as long. It hasn't gotten a chance to get, any more negative reviews or something. But so far, it's got better reviews than Cruel Beauty has.
We should probably at the end of the live show we could look at the description of that and kind of maybe compare it. I think maybe it's like a not necessarily a direct series, but a companion series.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's in the same world, but it's not necessarily the same thing, and it's a retelling of Red Riding Hood, I think.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree with you. It intrigued me enough where I think I might continue on. I really enjoyed her writing style. It's just I think there was too much going on to make it 100% enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is really the first read-along book that we've had more negative things to say than we have positive. I mean, it had positive elements, but it mainly had more negative elements to me.
Yeah, like I really liked the ending and the main character, like we've said before, but there are definitely more negative things. Like, obviously we were all super excited about Fairest, and what was the first book that we read? Why am I having a brain fart?
Ruby Red.
Ruby Red. Oh yeah, Ruby Red was really good. So those were just fantastic novels. So we were bound to have one that we weren't necessarily going to be. No, I knew it was going to come eventually, and I enjoyed it. I think this one had a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential to be amazing. It's just there are certain parts of it that just... The house was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool aspect to it.
The only problem was when she was exploring, I kind of had trouble picturing the house. Like, I don't know why, but whenever a house is described to be like this big with this many hallways and this many doors, I have the worst time trying to picture it.
Yeah, that might be the, like, I don't know, that might be the point of the author, because, if, like, I remember in English class, they would teach us, if it's a really long run-on sentence, but the character is running a lot, it makes you out of breath because the character's out of breath. Does that make sense? So maybe it's the same thing. This house was really confusing, and things, hallways and doors and rooms changed every day, all the time. And one day she would go into this room and it was the kitchen, and the next day it wasn't. So maybe it was like the same thing. She was confused by the house, which the way that the author wrote the book made you confused about the house as well, which is why I think she's a really good author, and she has a great writing style and she can write, but it was just the aspects of the story were just, I think, too much. If she had taken out the Greek mythology aspect and maybe created her own simple religion of the characters in the book, I think it would have been a lot better.
I don't remember what it's called, but those things that she had to draw on the, you know what I'm talking about? They started with like an H or something like that. Now I gotta find out what they are.
No, yeah, I don't remember. I have horrible memory when it comes to, like, aspects in a book. The more we talk about it, the more stuff I remember, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
It started with an H, that's all I know. But, oh, yeah, she had to draw them on, like, the heart of water and the heart of earth and the heart of air.
Oh, yeah, see, I totally forgot that aspect of it, that the way for her to, like, get out of the castle or to beat the gentle lord was to find all these aspects or whatever.
Yeah, they have a name, but right now I can just find, how do you say it, sigils or sigils or S-I-G-I-L-S? Why can't I say that?
Sigils? I don't know. Sounds right to me.
They have a name, I just can't find it right now.
Yeah. I don't remember what you're talking about having to write stuff, but I do remember, you know, finding all of which that was another aspect that confused me, was how is finding the heart of water, the heart of air, the heart of earth, so on and so forth, how does that help her beat the Gentle Lord? I don't know. I guess it has to do with the magic. Maybe the magic system just had to be explained a bit more as well for the story.
I found it. They're hermetic sigils.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what? I had no idea what hermetic meant, and after reading it like a dozen times in the book, I went to look it up. Did you look it up?
No.
It was, here, let me see. Hermetic definition. Okay, of or relating to an ancient occult tradition encompassing alchemy, astrology, and theosophy. So it's basically like just a different way of saying like magic, I guess.
Yeah. See, I know when she drew them on each of the hearts, it was supposed to collapse the house, but I don't see how that's going to kill him. I can see how it'll kill her.
I think that was the thing. I think that was what she was so angry with her family, which is a huge aspect in the book. She was so angry with her family because, you know, she was basically being, you know, she knew her whole life that she was going to have to do this, and it was going to kill her too, but it was also going to kill him, which saved the town.
But I don't understand how it would have killed him, since he's so almighty.
Oh, I don't know. But, I mean, I guess if collapsing the house does kill him, technically, it would kill her too. And then that was the thing in the end where he finally was like, he told her, if you do this, it'll destroy me, yes, but it'll also destroy the whole village.
Yeah.
So it was basically pointless by the end. But I guess they figured out a way to get around that or something. I don't know.
I thought that's another thing. I thought that was really weird how the town is basically a room inside his house.
Okay, yeah, that really confused me as well. But once I just like, I think if you think about it too much, it confuses you. But if you just take it for what it is, it's like, okay, you know what I mean? I don't know. Have you ever seen a picture when you take it in like a mirror and it's like, you know, like over and over and over again? It's like that. But if you think about it too much, it's like that. But if you take it for what it is, once I stopped thinking about it, it made more sense, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, towards the middle, almost to the end of the book, when he started to actually love the guy.
Mhm.
I actually liked that.
The Gentle Lord or Shade?
Gentle Lord. It started to grow on me.
Yeah. It was, and that was really weird too. Like, she kept going back and forth with Shade and the Gentle Lord, and like, you know, she kissed both of them, and then I'm pretty sure she basically told her sister that she slept with him.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you? Okay, because I wasn't sure. I was like, because it basically, like, she insinuated that he's sleeping in her bed every night, which basically means she slept with him.
Yeah.
And her sister was like, couldn't believe she was sleeping with her, and what's her name? Styx, right?
The sister's name?
No, her name. Or Nyx?
Nyx, yeah.
Nyx, yeah. Nyx was like, he's my husband. Like, why shouldn't I sleep with him? So it was, I don't know. The very weird love triangle was odd for me. Yeah. But I was rooting for Shade.
It was like a love triangle, but at the same time, it was kind of like a broken love triangle.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then I started to wonder if the Gentle Lord was messing with her emotions. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she wanted her to love him, so he kind of, like, influenced her, so maybe she really didn't? I don't know.
I think it was, like, when he's vulnerable, especially at night, I think that's what made her think, well, he's not all that evil. He still has his vulnerable side, and that's what helped her fall in love with him.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, he wasn't the one that separated her village from the rest of the world for, like, you know, it was like centuries or like a millennia or something like that. Her village has been separated from the rest of the world. It was a long, long time that they've been separated, and I guess everyone blamed the Gentle Lord for doing that, but then I guess he told her the truth, and it wasn't really him. It was Somebody. It was somebody else who I can't even remember.
It was like the children of Typhon.
Typhon, yeah. And
Like
you know what? If I had never read Percy Jackson, I wouldn't even know what Typhon was or Tartarus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, thank you, Percy Jackson, because a lot of this Greek mythology stuff, I would have no idea what it's about reading this book. I would have had to look a bunch of stuff up.
Especially since I had just finished reading The Goddess Test and The Last Olympian. So this having Greek elements, it was kind of like, okay, well, here we go again.
Yeah, if you're completely clueless on anything Greek mythology, I highly recommend reading the Percy Jackson series before reading this book, or just being okay with looking a lot of stuff up, because I would have had no idea about Typhon or Tartarus or any of these Greek mythology things. You know, in school that you learn about the main gods, and that's about what I learned, but with reading Percy Jackson, it helped so much.
Yeah, at least have basic knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Nyx and the Gentle Lord falling in love, this was one of my other theories. I thought that they would fall in love completely and rule Arcadia together, and that would have been it would be a depressing ending, but it would be kind of like an alternate ending, I guess.
Yeah, that would be an interesting ending.
I
guess so the end. See, the end I'm still confused about. So Shade went back into his normal self, which was the last prince. And then did Arcadia go back to the regular world?
I think it was as if the Gentle Lord never existed.
Oh, okay.
Remember, she set the children of Typhon or Titan on him, and then she went Have you ever seen Lost? How's that?
No, I saw a couple seasons of Lost, but by the time it got to the smoke monster, I was done. I was this is getting ridiculous.
Well, I'm gonna Lost to the people who have watched Lost, because I'm almost done with it. It's kind of as if their plane never crashed, this is what would happen. Well, this was basically, if the Gentle Lord never existed, this is how it is.
Okay.
That's kind of how it was for me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's just now the more I think, that's what gets me with books. I end it and I'm like, okay, I give it this much and I enjoyed it. But the more I think about it, if I just sit there and harp on a book and just think about it, I like it either less or I like it a lot more. So the more I think about what I just didn't understand about this book, and the more I think about just how it ended and how I just don't understand a lot of it, it makes me like it less. I feel like I need to read it again to fully understand everything that's going on. And I'm just not that committed.
I mean, I liked this book, but I don't think I like it enough to either want to read it again or go buy it. But, because, I mean, I didn't like the part where she woke up in the new world or whatever, where the Gentle Lord didn't exist. And I also feel like the ending wasn't very clear. While I liked the last 3 pages or so, I still didn't think the ending was clear. I feel like there should have been a bigger event that happened.
Yeah, I agree. So did she get with the last Prince Shade guy?
I think so.
Yeah, they ended up together, because I was rooting for him the whole time, especially I don't know, especially when I realized that, well, I think that the Gentle Lord was messing with her emotions, or I don't know. And it was sort of sweet when she realizes that he's afraid of the dark, basically, and that, or it was the dark injures him. It's the dark gives him pain or something, that's his weakness.
Or it's not enough to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I kind of felt like he was a wuss. Is that bad?
A powerful wuss.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you have this. You're afraid of the dark. Ooh. Okay, big powerful man. I don't know. That's how it made me feel a little bit. So I was always for Shade. Something else I really liked about the book, which was the only really big similarity to the Disney thing, is the mirror.
The mirror was, I wrote something down about that. It reminds me of the mirror of said from Harry Potter,
Okay.
and every time she was at the mirror, I'm like, Harry Potter, right there.
Is it the way it looked or what it did? Because it did something very different.
Kind of what it did. Like in Harry Potter, it shows what you most desire, but in this book, it kind of like shows not like what's happening, I guess, because it was showing what Estrella was doing or thinking or something like that.
Well, at one point she asks Shade, "Does this show the truth?" And he says nothing but. So what
Right.
I perceived it as is that the mirror shows exactly what's going on. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And that I really liked that too, that we got to see how Estrella reacted, and like when she sort of stepped up and wanted to like rescue her sister, or when she thought her sister was dead because she's been at the castle and nothing's happened. She wanted to like go and rescue her sister, and she like studied for days on end on doing all the hermetic magic and stuff like that. So, you know, I really thought her sister was selfish and childish in the beginning. Like she's crying because she's losing a sister, but she's not even paying attention to how her sister feels about having to basically give herself up for her entire village. But then when she started trying to get vengeance or rescue her sister, I thought that, you know, I really liked her for that. I thought she was a cool character.
I feel like we didn't think about how much has to go into what Nyx is doing. Like, she's like, oh, it's been a week and nothing's happened. Well, it takes time because she has to find all these different things and
That's
also,
true.
like, have him not suspect anything. So, yeah.
Yeah. And the whole thing, I was confused about how, like, okay, so killing the Great Lord with a virgin blade by a virgin was like their plan to kill him, but then like they had two plans, like to get all the hearts of air and water and all that, and to kill him with the knife. I was confused by that too.
Well, eventually, there were no virgin hands
Yeah,
anymore, so
that's true.
that was
Not a virgin
more.
anymore. But I guess I was just confused by that. Like, why did they have, I guess maybe one as a backup? I don't know.
Yeah, Plan A and Plan B, and Plan A obviously failed, so.
Yeah. But then I see that's why it confused me, because her aunt in the beginning was like, you know, we're going to teach you how to please your husband, basically, but why give her the knife? I don't know.
Yeah. I thought with while there was a sort of love triangle going on here, I didn't really root for either of them. Like, I mean, at one point I really liked the Gentle Lord and Nyx, and at other times I really liked Shade and Nyx, but I wasn't rooting for anybody like I would in another book that has a love triangle.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't really. I mean, like I said, I was on Shade's side, I guess, but I I really felt like some parts he was using her to get his freedom, basically. Which I mean, after being in a prisoner for eons for a long time, I can understand that. But I really, in the beginning, I felt like he didn't really have feelings for her until like at the very very end. And then didn't the Gentle Lord, like, didn't he have to, he basically gave himself up for her because he really did like her. Like, he showed her the Heart of Earth in
Yeah.
with the one room that was attached to the library, and he showed her the Heart of Air when he took her up to the thing that was like floating, you know.
Yeah.
So I felt like he eventually had genuine feelings for her.
Yeah, and then they started to work together to try and figure out his true name or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And then what was that? What was his true name?
I don't think we ever learned it.
I thought for, I don't know, like part of me there at the end when they were talking about the last prince and realizing that Shade was the last prince, for a minute I thought that they were like you were saying, the same person. You know what I mean? Like they took the Gentle Lord from him or something, like, and that was his name. The last prince's name was
Yeah,
the Gentle Lord's name.
maybe. I don't think it was answered. I know she learned his name after she was in the Heart of Fire, and she like passed out or something, but she forgot the name.
Yeah, and she couldn't remember it or whatever, which I thought was weird too.
Yeah, I think maybe that's just one of those questions that was kind of left unanswered.
Yeah. Oh, it was just overall a confusing book. It really made you think. And for me, I know a lot of people, they enjoy like the mystery and making you think and stuff, but I genuinely just want to be entertained. You know what I mean? Like there's some times where I like a good guessing game. Like for example, Kiss of Deception. You don't know there's three perspectives: the princess, the assassin, and the prince, and you don't know who's the assassin and who's the prince from each perspective. So, and I liked that guessing game. It was interesting because I really didn't have to think. I didn't have to solve something. It was just a guessing game, literally. So for this, it just made me think too much. I just want to be entertained, and I just want to read. And this was just a bit much for me, I guess.
Yeah, you have to pay close attention to understand all of it.
Yeah, and a lot of times when I'm reading like when I watch TV, I read during the commercials, or I'm listening to an audiobook in the car, which I did with this book a lot on my way to and from work. Now I'll have the physical copy of the book, and I will download the audiobook from the library, and I'll read it at home and listen to the audiobook in the car. And you know, I pay attention in the car, but I'm driving, so sometimes my mind just, you know what I mean, like you're driving, so most of my attention is on driving. So every once in a while I'm driving, my mind will be on driving and not listening to the book. So for me, I just can't put 100% of my consciousness into a book. It's just I'm not good at that. So
for me, I feel like this is one of those books that you can't just listen to the audiobook. You have to read it to understand all of it. I think personally, when I'm driving, if the rare occasion that I actually have an audiobook on, I want to I want to have something simple that I can follow, like Harry Potter.
Mhm.
It'd be really simple. This just has, like I said, it has 2 sentences.
Yeah, I recently finished the Last Olympian or whatever, the last book in the Percy Jackson series just a couple of days ago, and I had that on audiobook, and that was a lot easier to follow than it was for Cruel Beauty, because I felt like when I got done listening to the audiobook, like when I got to work, there was some stuff that I missed because there basically was, and for this book you really have to pay attention, like you said.
Yeah, because Rick Riordan is also really easy to get through because they're like a fast-paced writing style.
Yep.
I pulled up the Crimson Bound description too.
Okay.
Let's see. When Rochelle was 15, she was good, apprenticed to her aunt, and in training to protect her village from dark magic. Okay, first of all, that sounds exactly like Cruel Beauty almost.
Mm-hmm.
But she was also reckless, straying from the forest path in search of a way to free her world from the threat of eternal darkness.
Sounds like Cruel Beauty to me.
Sounded exactly like Cruel Beauty. After an illicit meeting goes dreadfully wrong, Rochelle is forced to make a terrible choice that binds her to the very evil she had hoped to defeat. I'm still getting the Cruel Beauty vibe here.
Yeah, same.
3 years later, Rochelle has given her life to serving the realm, fighting deadly creatures in an effort to atone. When the king orders her to guard his son, Armand, the man she hates most, Rochelle forces Armand to help her find the legendary sword that might save their world. As the two become unexpected allies, they uncover far-reaching conspiracies, hidden magic, and a love that may be their undoing. In a palace built on an unbelievable wealth and dangerous secrets, can Rochelle discover the truth and stop the fall of an endless night? Let's see. Inspired by the classic tale Little Red Riding Hood, Crimson Bound is an exhilarating tale of darkness, love, and redemption. And then it says this is a standalone novel, not a part of the Cruel Beauty universe. Okay, so the first... Huh?
That does sound... It sounds a lot like Cruel Beauty. Like you were about to say, the first half sounds a lot like it.
See, okay, now that kind of makes me not want to read it as much. But the second half, where it has this adventure with the prince, that makes me want to read it more.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things. I wonder how the reviews are.
Yeah, the reviews that I saw were better than Cruel Beauty. but I didn't. I don't like to read reviews until I'm either reading the book or after I'm done because I'm afraid of spoilers.
Yeah, I'm looking at star ratings. Yeah, this mostly I'm seeing 4s and 5s, 1 3, 1 2, 2 2s. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot better reviews than Cruel Beauty.
I think a lot of people felt very similar to what we did, 2.5 to 3.5 on Cruel Beauty, just because it's, you know, it was good. It has good writing. We liked the characters. I literally think that most people's problems were just had too much. Too much was going on.
Yeah, see, now I'm going to look at the Cruel Beauty page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says Grace Lee and the Beast in this sweeping fantasy. 4 stars, 3 stars, 1 star.
And another thing that I worry about with fairy tale retellings is I like it to have a small twist. You know, obviously different similar-ish characters, but I like it to be pretty close to the actual fairy tale. I don't know why. I like it. You know, like Cinder. Cinder has Cinderella, got 2 stepsisters, got a stepmom. You know, like, I just like it to be very similar but different, if that makes sense at all. You know, yeah. Scarlet, it's got Scarlet, her grandma goes missing, there's wolves, you know what I mean? Like, it's similar but different. I like it to go along the same kind of sort of plot line, but different, if that makes any sense at all. I think anyone who's read Cinder or Scarlet knows what I'm talking about, but I don't want to give any spoilers away for anyone who hasn't. So I really like my fairy tale retellings to be similar, and I don't think that this Beauty and the Beast retelling was similar enough.
I think that's mainly why I really like the Lunar Chronicles. While they have the sci-fi element, they also kind of stay true to the story.
Mm-hmm. And it's got its own history and its own thing, but it follows the fairy tale very alike.
Well, with this, I understand where it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it also has all its own history that, I mean, again, it's just way too many pieces to follow.
Yeah.
I think with next month's book, I wouldn't necessarily call it a straight-up retelling. I think it's more like a retelling mixed with, like, a historical fiction.
And I think it's, like a historical fiction post-retelling, like Splintered. Have you read Splintered?
No, I want
to. Howard.
I want to, though, but I haven't read it.
It's really good, but it's a Alice in Wonderland after, like, the way that it says what it says on the back is Alice in Wonderland's great-great-great-great-granddaughter, basically. Yeah. And I think that's what Cinderella's dress is going to be, because I think the main character is the keeper of Cinderella's dress. So Cinderella was a real person in this book, and generations later, it sounds like she's the one that has to keep Cinderella's dress, is what it sounds like it's going to be.
Yeah, did you know there's a sequel for it coming out?
No, I didn't know that.
It's called Cinderella's Shoes.
Cinderella's what?
Shoes.
News?
Shoes.
Shoes?
Yeah.
Like H-U-E-S?
No. Shoes, like on your feet.
Oh, shoes! I can't understand. I couldn't understand what you were saying. Okay, Cinderella's shoes. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Hopefully, I won't get spoiled for it though, but probably will.
Yeah, be careful. I thought it was. I hate it when sequel descriptions ruin the first book. That just happened to me. I picked up Eon today, which I'm going to be hauling, and then I looked at the description for Eona, which is the second book. Totally ruined the first one for me.
I read the first one. I don't think it's a straight up spoiler, but it kind of gives something for the first one, I guess.
Okay. I'll hear it. Yeah, go ahead.
There is war.
There is war?
Well, it said the war may not be over. I'm like, okay, so there's a war in the first book. Okay.
If it's historical, maybe it's like a real war, like World War I or World War II?
World War II.
World War II, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the description for the first book.
I love my historical books, so, big history buff.
I haven't read enough historical fiction to actually have a good opinion, but I think the main one I've read, which is The Book Thief, I actually really liked.
Yeah. And see, that's my least favorite part of history is like anything after the Civil War or anything after like the Industrial Revolution, I don't like much. I mean, I still enjoy it, but it's my least favorite. So
There's
if
a
you
lot
like that, I think you'll like anything before that.
there's a lot of mixed reviews on this book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of 4s, 3s. I've seen a few 1s too.
Yeah, not a lot of 5s.
It kind of worries me. I don't think I've seen a single 5 yet. 4,
Uh-oh.
3, 1, 4, 5. I found a 5.
Okay. I honestly think that I would probably like it more than most because I'm such a history buff and I like the historical books. I love historical books, so
For me,
it doesn't discourage me.
I know this is a young adult book, but it's kind of giving me the vibe of adult historical fiction. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I read a lot of I read some young adult that like Cruel Beauty. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember thinking this is a young adult book. I had a conversation with somebody about this on I think I posted a video about it or something, that young adult is geared towards the ages of 12 to 18-year-olds. Obviously people who are older read young adult, but people who very mature children who are younger than 12 can read young adult, you know what I mean? But there are some aspects in Cruel Beauty where I'm like, do I really want an 11 or a 12-year-old reading this?
I feel like, you know how sometimes they have like age for books?
What?
Sometimes they have like age groups for books.
I have never that was I don't think you do Tuesday Talks, but I do Tuesday Talks every week, which is like a discussion, you have a it's like Top 5 Wednesday, but it's discussion videos basically. And one of the discussions that we had on Tuesday Talks was, should there be like parental guidance warnings on books? And for young adult books and adult, I completely agree. I think yes. If there is sexual content, gore, violence, then yeah, let's put that on there for parents to know. So you know what I mean? And I've seen it on manga and graphic novels and comic books and stuff like that, but I've never seen it on a book.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen it on a few. I think it's kind of like on like board games. On a few like mainly middle grade books, I'll see like for ages 12 and up or whatever. I think I would give this one for like ages 15 and up, or maybe ages 16 and up.
Yeah, I think 15 might be a good 15, 16. You're right, might be a good age, but because it's bugging me because I can't remember what specific part it was, but I don't remember what part it was.
In 2011 when 50 Shades of Grey came out in paperback and everything, and it was like the big thing. I have this mindset now. If you're mature enough with it, be my guest. But if you're going to be really stupid about it, then don't. I think that's how I would be with this, too.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, if you're under the age of 18, it ultimately comes down to your parents deciding whether or not you're mature. Because I've met some 12-year-olds that are very mature and could read, Cruel Beauty or another book that has, I think it was mild sexual content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was when her aunt was like teaching her basically how to please her husband. If there is a mature 13-year-old who understands stuff like that and is not going to take it the wrong way or whatever, if as a parent, if you understand that your child is mature enough to handle that sort of content, then by all means. But as a parent, you wouldn't know just by looking at the cover that something like that would be in there. So, I really think that those parental guidance warnings or whatever should be there to help out parents.
Yeah, I feel like even when I'm older, like I can be in my late 20s, early 30s, I may have kids of my own, and you see some booktubers like this who read young adult. I think that's gonna be me, because even though when I like pick up an adult book, like even a classic book, it doesn't really catch my interest. Not because I can't relate to it, because I've read adult books before that I like, but I mean, I relate to young adult, but at the same time, it just catches my interest more, and not
Yeah.
necessarily because I relate to it.
I don't know what it is about like the writing style with young adult. It just catches it, like you said, it just catches my attention more. I've read plenty of adult. When I was in high school, like when I was your age, a little bit older, like 16 to like 18, 19, all I read was adult historical fiction, mostly because I didn't know about the young adult genre. I just, I didn't have Goodreads. I didn't watch YouTube when I was in high school. I didn't, I just didn't know how to go about finding books like that. And the only thing I knew was that I liked history. So, and I literally went to my school librarian, and when I started reading in high school, really as like a hobby, I was like, I like history books. Give me a book. Show me something that I would like. And she gave me adult historical fiction, and that's what I just read for years and years and years until I started working for a bookstore, and I realized that young adult was a thing, and I was like, wow, I really like this. So, and I'll be the same way. I'm going to be 25, 30, 40 years old, probably reading young adult with kids.
Yeah, have you read The Duff?
No.
Well,
I don't like contemporary much.
I read The Duff for Readerama, and I mean this kind of plays in with the age limit. I feel like with The Duff, you can start reading that at like 15, 16. And the same thing with this book. If it has mild sexual content, then just be mature with it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with this book, because it didn't start off with a lot, but then it like started going into a lot.
Yeah.
Well, even though necessarily it wasn't like 50 Shades of Grey, but it was still there.
Yeah, and it was still like more than what I would want my like 11 or 12-year-old reading, especially if they're not like, mature for their age. I wouldn't want my 12-year-old reading some of the things that were in this book. If it hadn't had the parts of Cruel Beauty that were like showing her how to please her husband, and I think at one point it talked about her breasts and stuff like that. I just think that there were some parts that were just too mature for an 11 or a 12-year-old, which is like the end point for, what publishers gear young adult readers towards.
Yeah.
15, 16 is probably a better age for a lot of books nowadays in young adult that I'm starting to realize have that slight bit of mature content, and I really think that having those like warnings or whatever, like we were talking about, would help parents a lot with books like Cruel Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
I didn't have a lot of notes.
No, I never take notes for our live show, but I think we talked about, most everything that I was thinking of during reading the book. I can't really think of anything else. And I have to get up for work at like 4:30 in the morning, so I wanted to spend about an hour talking about everything. So I think we're pretty much on track. Did we get any questions on Twitter? Like, I know we've got a couple viewers now, so if you guys who are watching have any questions, or did you read the book, comments, what did you think, all that good stuff, we would like to know. There's probably like a 2 or 3 minute lag on YouTube, so we'll wait around for a couple minutes and see if we get any comments or questions or anything like that, and then we'll probably head out. But I don't think we've gotten any questions so far.
No, Danny said she's home now and she's watching.
Do what?
Danny's home now and she's watching, so.
Oh, she is? You know what? I wonder if I can add her so we could see her. I don't think I can, though. I wouldn't know how to do that. I would like, if I could figure it out, I would add her so that we could just, she probably wouldn't want to, but I would add her so we could just see her opinion, because I know she spent time and she read it and stuff.
Text me your reading on this, Danny.
Yeah, because we missed you for the live show. I'm trying to see if we got...
We should.
I'm trying to think. What was that?
We should think about a hashtag for next month.
Yep.
And a live date too. That's another thing.
I don't see the video on my channel. It's weird.
It's there.
Is it? I don't see it.
Yeah. Crap, what was it?
Oh, a hashtag for Cinderella's dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm drawing a complete and total blank on that. I can't think of anything.
We need to, all three of us, get on the messaging for Twitter and come up with a live show date, probably for April and May. We need to think of a May book, too. So we're not, we need to be, like, this time we were kind of just like, oh, crap, is it going to be Friday or is it going to be Saturday?
Yeah.
That time, like, let's
with
get
my
off
with my new work schedule, it was crazy there for a little bit.
Plus Read-A-Rama.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep. Now we gotta like get on top of it and prepare for the next like 2 months.
Yes. Okay, so April, May, June. Oh my God, I cannot believe it's 2 months away. Cause okay, when we planned for Read-A-Rama, we had 3 months in advance. You remember?
Yeah.
I think it was 3 months, and now there's only 2. And it went by. Remember, the 3 months went by so fast. It went by like it was nothing. And now we only have 2 until the next one. So we gotta come up with dates, and this is like so off topic from Cruel Beauty, but oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be. I get out of school on June 7th, but I'm taking a summer class for three weeks right after that. So it'll probably be like the end of June, the beginning of July.
Okay. I just don't want it to overlap with Booktubeathon.
Yes. Booktubeathon tends to be like the middle of July, so we should be fine.
I don't want to, like, I have a feeling, though, I have a feeling that what made us so successful for this is that there weren't any readathons for a couple weeks before ours, and there weren't any readathons for a couple weeks after ours, and not any major ones, at least. And I think that's what made people really join a lot, because they weren't overwhelmed with readathon, back-to-back readathon, you know? So I mean, hopefully we can get it. I would want it in, like, the last week of June.
Yeah, so, like, in June we'll have a week long, and then probably in, like, November we can have a weekend long one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Kind of like what Read Your Bookshelf, or not Read Your Bookshelf, but Booktubeathon does. I cannot find this video anywhere. Well, you have it. We don't have any questions in the comment section or anything.
I'll check in a second. Danny said she didn't start on Goodreads yet, but she'd probably give it a 2 or a 3.
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised. This is a difficult... Did she say why?
No.
No.
We don't have any questions.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised with Danny, like we said. If, you know, for our viewers, that if you weren't here at the beginning, it was, you know, for me, I liked the character, I liked the ending, and I liked the house that the book was set in, but it was just felt like a bit too much. If the Greek mythology aspect of the book had been completely taken away, I think I would have appreciated it a bit more. I just think it was too much going on in the story.
Yeah,
to, like, sum everything up.
While I had enough interest to keep going, I think the cons outweigh the pros. So, I mean, I liked it, and I liked the last 3 pages.
I'm not sure. I can't say for 100% fact that if I had not had this for the live show, that I wouldn't have DNF'd it. I just don't know. I don't know. I might have DNF'd it. And I don't usually DNF books, so...
I may have. The thing is, if it's too confusing or too slow, I don't want to finish it. But yeah. When it got to, like, when she married him, it gave me enough interest to keep going.
Yeah, so, I agree. There were little aspects that made me keep going. I liked the house, I liked the mirror, but, you know, the romancy parts, and then the whole religion and the magic just confused me. So
yeah. I mean, it was enough to keep going. Plus the fact that we have a live show for it gave me more motivation.
Yeah, I think that was really my only motivation. I don't know what I would do. You know, I can't go back in time, or, you know, I can't change that we have the live show for it. So I just can't say for a fact that I would finish it. And I have serious doubts if this weren't a part of the readathon or the read along, the Once Upon a Read Along, and we didn't have the live show for it, I just can't say that I would have finished it because I have my doubts.
Yeah, I can't. I don't even know. I mean, I may have finished it just because it started to get interesting, but I mean, like I said earlier, I wouldn't buy this book to keep, or I wouldn't reread it.
And I think if I had bought it, because the cover is beautiful. I love the cover. We can just say that. We gotta give credit where credit is due, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. And I think I might have bought it. Like at the time, I didn't have a job, and money wasn't necessarily flowing. So checking it out from the library was just more. It just made more sense. But if I had the money and I had bought it, I would have been disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, when it first, I don't remember when this came out. It came out last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When it first came out, it was kind of big, not necessarily in BookTube, but just in general.
Yeah.
But I feel like I really liked the description more than I did the actual story.
You liked the description more than the story?
Yeah, because I feel like the description gives it off as something that it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hate when books are like that. What book was like that? There was a book that I read recently that it was like, oh, Rumble by Ellen Hopkins. Rumble by Ellen Hopkins was the Booksplosion Book of the Month in August or September of 2014. And have you read it?
No.
Oh my gosh. The description says that a boy hears a voice who he thinks is God, and it changes his whole life. Okay? That's what the description basically said. He hears God, it changes his life. The whole book, he hears God on the second to last page.
Wow, that's depressing.
Right? What? The whole book I'm reading, going okay, is he going to hear God? Is he going to hear God? Okay, he hears God. Wait, no, he doesn't. Is he going to hear God? And then by the last 10 pages, I'm okay, the description completely lied. And then the last 2 pages, he hears God, and then the character doesn't even. He's is it God? No, I think it's my dead best friend. Wait, maybe it's God, but maybe it's my dead best friend. So the character didn't even think. I'm sorry, I totally gave that book away. But anyone who reads the description, you've been ruined. It doesn't matter because they give the ending away in the description.
Is that a series or is it a standalone?
It's a standalone.
That's pointless.
And I know everyone who did it in books. That was my first book that I ever read for Booksplosion, and everyone was like, "WTF? What?" Because he literally hears God on this or maybe his dead best friend on the second to last page. It was so bad.
I mean, I'm looking at the description for Cruel Beauty now, and I mean it sort of doesn't really. Okay, part of it is accurate with the book, but the other part kind of plays it in a different light.
Which part? What does it say?
Okay, since birth, Nyx has been something. That thing is blocking it. Betrothed to the evil ruler of her kingdom. Okay, yes.
Yes.
And all because of a reckless bargain her father struck. Yes. And since birth, she's been trained to kill him. Yes. Okay.
And though that was something we didn't talk about, the fact that he made a deal, all the deals that the Gentle Lord was making with people, and how basically that killed Nyx's mom, but I don't think it gave much to the story.
It was kind of just there.
Yeah, kind of just there.
I don't remember. I wish I had written down what page this is, but there was a perfect description of the Gentle Lord as Rumpelstiltskin in this. It was great.
I don't remember reading that. And
find it now.
I don't remember reading that, and I remember thinking throughout the book as I have no idea what this guy looks like. And I didn't remember you saying that because you read the book before I did, and I remember you texting me that and you telling me it's not, or you tweeted it or something like that. You said it was just like Rumpelstiltskin, but reading through the book, I remember thinking I have no idea what this character looks like.
It's not necessarily his looks, more as his personality. I just found it. So it's the first full paragraph on page 49. It says, "With a sigh, I sat down and leaned back against the wall. Probably my husband was away striking cursed bargains with other fools who thought, as father once did, that they could bear to pay his prices. At least I had a little more time left before I had to meet him. That,
Yeah. Now that you mention it, like he's very similar to Rumpelstiltskin if anyone watches Once Upon a Time.
that was, I read that the first time, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I have found the first Once reference here, basically.
Yeah. And I love that about Once Upon a Time, that they like combined Rumpelstiltskin and the alligator and the beast.
That was great.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. And me and you, if we start talking about Once Upon a Time, it's not going to stop for another hour. So we'll table that conversation and we'll text about it.
Okay, so we're on the description. Okay. Betrayed by her family, yet bound to obey. Okay. Nyx rails against her fate. Still, on her 17th birthday, she abandons everything she's ever known to marry the all-powerful, immortal Ignifex. I guess that's how you say it.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing. Why did they call him that, and why wasn't that his real name?
Who knows?
I don't know why. I must have completely missed that whole aspect of his name being Ignifex, because I remember when I started Cruel Beauty, I started it on audiobook in the car on my way to work. So I wasn't 100% there listening because I was driving, and I just don't ever remember hearing them explain why she calls him Ignifex.
I think it was just like how she could guess his real name, and he's like, if you guess wrong, you die, and she's like, well, I'm not going to guess, and he's like, okay, you can call me Ignifex.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay, because I don't remember that conversation happening, and it's probably because I was listening to the audiobook in the car.
Yeah. Let's see, where was I? Her plan: seduce him, disarm him, and break the 900-year-old curse he put on her people. Yeah, kind of. I don't think her plan was to seduce him.
Well, it was the aunt's plan. Her plan was to kill him with the Virgin Blade, but her aunt, I think, wanted her to seduce him, get the 4 hearts of earth, air, fire, water, whatever, and destroy it that way.
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle with that. Seduce him, not necessarily her plan. Disarm him, and break the curse. Yes, I believe that.
Yeah. And disarm him how?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I think it's very a wide interpretation.
Yeah.
About the description.
So I think necessarily you do have to kind of have an open mind for this book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely think so. You really have to be willing to pay attention to the small details and the different things about it, and all that good stuff.
I would probably, if I had to read this over again, I would go in this book not knowing what it was about.
You would what?
I would go in not knowing what this is about, mainly since the description is like halfway there.
Yeah. I mean, like, part of me is like, I really think that if I had read it again, I would understand it a lot more, and I would be able to catch up on I would be able to pick up on other things now that I know the ending, but I'm just not committed enough. If I really, really liked the book and I really wanted to understand it more and read it more, I would, but I just didn't like it enough to reread it.
Yeah, like, that's how it always is when I reread books. I kind of notice things more than I did the first time around.
Yeah.
But I mean, I completely agree. I don't have the motivation to do it.
Yeah, it's just not. There's a lot better books that I can spend my time on, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. The last paragraph on here. But Ignifex is not what Nyx expected. Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that bad to her.
Yeah, because he's not that evil. He's not evil. He didn't cause all the misery and the pain and everything that he does. And, like, when he says that the people that, like, okay, the guy that comes to him and was like, I want to kill my lover's husband because he abuses her, you know what I mean? And then Ignifex basically is like, Nyx thinks that he is a bad person, that he just dishes out bad things to innocent people, and he's like, no, think about it. The guy wanted to murder somebody. The guy wanted to live, And that makes him a bad person. It doesn't matter if the guy beats his wife, he still wants to murder somebody, and that makes him a bad person. And so she starts to realize, okay, you know, these people aren't necessarily, you know, the people that are getting these bad things happening to him because of Ignifex aren't necessarily innocent. And it makes her see him in a different light, you know?
Yeah.
And he doesn't always answer their call, like when his sister or Nick's sister calls for him and she wants to make a deal, he doesn't answer her call. So
yeah, that's
like, you know, he's not all bad.
That's the part where I think he cares about Nyx.
Yeah. I think he did genuinely care about her in some sense over the course of the book.
He cares enough not to want to upset her.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to her sister. I think if her theoretically, if her father were to call to him after they'd been married, I think he would probably answer it because she really doesn't like her father, in a sense.
Yeah, and I don't think her father really cared about her.
Yeah, and
like, he really never had any sort of
relationship.
Or, like, and he didn't care. He knew his daughter was going to be going off to die with this guy, and I don't think he cared at all.
Yeah, and he was basically okay with it. He was done.
Yep. He was like, okay, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, and then the wife ended up dying anyway.
The wife what?
The wife ended up dying anyway.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, well, I'm going to get with her sister.
Yeah, which is just disgusting.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, first of all, that's basically your sister-in-law. Second of all, just because your wife died doesn't mean you have to be such a butt about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they tried to hide it, but they obviously didn't hide it that well because everyone knew.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was so badass when Nyx went back to the house to basically tell her sister that she was alive, and she confronts her dad and was like, you're sleeping with my aunt, and he was like so shocked, you know, and she was just like, no F's given, don't care.
I thought we were hiding it not well enough.
No, I guess not. And she just goes and like confronts him about it and is like, I don't care, you know, like she just So I really did like her a lot. I think she just had a really good personality.
See, this goes back to my Once Upon a Time addiction and my Rumble addiction. Me, myself, I tried to picture Nyx as Belle in Once.
Mm-hmm.
But once I realized, and we got into the story about how like kick-ass Nyx is, I'm like, okay, this isn't really. I don't see her as Belle. I see her as this completely random person in my head.
Yeah, me too. I didn't really like see her as anybody. I don't think. I mean, other than like the time where Belle. Oh God, I don't want to give away spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Once Upon a Time. But you know, at the end of the A part.
Yes.
Okay, you know. Other than that part where Belle was just awesome and was like, yes, they have pretty much no similarities.
Okay, I'm gonna fan cast Nyx. Maybe not Nyx. I'm gonna fan. Well, Nyx and Estrella are twins, so I guess I'm fan casting both of them.
Oh,
have you seen?
They're twins.
Have you seen Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
Okay, the one singer that basically slept with everyone, Stacy.
Huh. Yeah.
That's who I'm looking her up on.
Okay. I can see it. I see it. I saw her as like a random brunette chick anyway, so that makes sense.
Here. So, oh God, we've got like, okay, she's like blonde and she has black hair. Okay, right here. This is
in the movie. She's a brunette. I think.
In the movie, she's a brunette, but there's like a million different pictures of her. See if I can do this here. Can I get this right wrong way?
I know who you're talking about. You can see her hair, just not her face.
Okay, this is who I think Nyx and Estrella should be played by.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can see it. Because I think she has the potential to be very, like, innocent and loving like her sister is, but also badass like Nyx is.
Mhm.
I think she can play both sides.
Danny put in the group message 2 ideas for the hashtag. Hashtag save the dress and hashtag hide the dress. I like that.
Hide the dress?
Yeah,
I like hide the dress.
in here. We still haven't picked a picture for the profile.
Oh, I was going to say, the green one, you liked the green one, Chloe.
Yeah.
And I liked the green one, and Danny liked the other one. So if we're going to go with a democratic thought on that, then we'll pick the green one.
I'm gonna say, should we do like rock, paper, scissors here?
I mean, if Danny's okay with that, because me and you both like the one that's with the green background with the grass, and people who are watching have no idea what we're talking about.
I like the bright colors in it, like the green and the girl. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah, that's why I liked it too. So if we're gonna go with a democratic, voting 2 against 1, if that's okay with Danny. If not, then I don't know. We'll pick a number out of a hat.
We'll figure it out after this.
Yeah. Yeah, after the live show.
Yeah.
But I think that was everything that we wanted to talk about. Yes.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Me neither. We both gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I think we had similar thoughts on it, along with a lot of other people.
Yeah, just
from what I read on Goodreads.
Do you have any other final thoughts to say?
No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you can deal with all the different parts, I would read it. But I'd also either go in blind or keep an open mind, or both.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Both. Keep an open mind and go in not knowing a lot. So if you haven't read the book and you've just watched this entire live show, you're screwed. Oh, anyway.
Well, I think. Oh, actually, this is about the April book. So,
okay.
In case you guys missed it, the April book is Cinderella's Dress by. I'm gonna get this right. Shauna Slayton. I think I got that right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is our April book. Are we doing hashtag hide the dress?
Sounds good to me. Hashtag hide the dress.
Okay. Danny, you always come up with the hashtags because we.
I know. She's just designated hashtag creator.
So hashtag hide the dress, and we should probably get on the Twitter now and come up with a live show date or a tentative one.
Well, let's see.
Have
We can
plans.
do Mace. My boss is going out of town that week, so May 2nd. She goes out of town like the 30th, and she doesn't come back to the 5th. So the 25th or the 26th, which is a Sunday. The 25th is a Saturday.
Right now the 25th looks pretty good to me.
Okay, all right. It's like 3 weeks away, but oh well. Because my boss might have somebody else to watch the kids that week. I don't know yet. I should know this week. So if she does, then I can do the 2nd. Then it'll at least be 4 weeks away. It'll give everyone some time to read it. I have to wait for my book to come in the mail, so.
Yeah, so
right now we'll just say the 25th tentatively.
Yeah.
And then if everyone is free on the 2nd and I don't have to work the 2nd, then we'll probably push it back the 2nd, because then it'll give everyone more time to read it.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm thinking.
We'll be announcing the June book in a couple of weeks.
May.
Probably, right? May book. Yeah, the May book in a couple of weeks.
You probably plan like the next few months as well after this.
Yeah, we probably should start planning. Well, we know the July book, right?
Yes, I still have to read Kiss of Deception.
Yes, you do. You guys need to read Kiss of Deception, because I'm so looking forward to Heart of Betrayal that comes out in July. It comes out July 7th. So you gotta request it from your library now, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like request it today. I don't know if your library does that, but my library does that. If it's a book that they know they're gonna get, you can request it before it comes out.
For the live show, I think the 25th will be better, because I know on the 4th I have my AP exam. The odds of me actually studying on the 2nd are very slim, but
I didn't study for my AP exams.
I'd like to stay open-minded with it.
So then, so the 25th looks the best. Then we'll just say that.
Yeah.
keep dropping my thing.
I have to go make a cover photo for Goodreads and too, so.
Okay. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, we might have to do the 24th because I might have to work the 25th. Well, it'll be that weekend most likely, right? The 24th, the 25th, or the 26th.
Well, Danny's birthday is May 1st, so we're no on May 2nd.
We're no on May 2nd, okay. All right, so then it'll have to be that weekend, the 25th, the 26th, or the 27th. Or no, 24th, the 25th, or the 26th, yeah. But it'll be around that time.
Okay, let's sign off and we'll move to the Twitter message.
Well, yeah, well, we're letting our viewers know, too, so they can plan ahead.
Yeah, we're working on it, guys.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll send out a Twitter message when we figure it all out.
Bear with us.
All right, so we will sign off, and we will see you guys next month for the live show.
Which we will announce on Twitter and Goodreads.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.